Hi, I'm Walker from Make Noise, here with Synthtopia at Superbooth 19, and I'm going to show you a few new modules that we have we're showing this year. First of all, actually, we have a new system, the Tape and Microsound Music Machine. This is a skiff system that's made for creating, capturing, and processing audio in stereo, and it contains a couple of the new modules that we're also showing today. So we've also got the SoundHack Mimeophone, we've got the X-Pan, and we've got the XO. So I'll start with the Mimeophone, which is the one that we've just announced. This is a stereo multi-zone color audio repeater. So to put it in a simple way, it repeats the audio that comes into it, but it gets a lot more complicated than that if you want it to. So here's what we have going in on the live sound coming into the mix, and then we can hear some repeats that are kind of layered in with that when I turn up the mix control. If I turn up the repeats, we'll hear that it creates more and more repeats over time, of course. Pretty standard stuff so far for an echo. However, this is also a stereo input and output. It's a brand new algorithm from SoundHack, developed by Tom Erb, and he worked with us pretty closely to work on kind of making our system stereo overall. So we have a special control here called skew on the rate, which causes the rate to reverse its modulation from one side to the other. So that when I go faster on the left, it goes slower on the right, and vice versa. Headphones will be best way to watch this if you're watching it on YouTube or something like that. We also have a special control called zone, which is something pretty new. It's going to be setting the overall size of the repeats, and we can go all the way from little micro sound things for flange and chorus, things like that, up to note length repeats, and then all the way out to really long times in which we can hear some of what was going on in the buffer earlier, and those are all immediately accessible with no Doppler pitch shifting as you switch from one to the next. Repeats and halo and color are kind of our sound shaping parameters, and they're all tied together. So if we turn up color to make it more bright, we'll hear it take cumulative effect over time as it goes through the repeats over and over again. Similarly with the halo, we'll be adding more and more smears of sound to the repeats as it goes on. Halo and color are tied into each other as well, and they're all kind of just interlocking in various ways inside the algorithm instead of being more of a linear chain. We also have the capability to flip the repeats so that they come in backwards. And we can also hold the repeats so that they just, nothing goes into the buffer, nothing comes out. Even when we change color and halo and zone, it's non-destructive. We'll just continue to hear the same thing no matter what we do for as long as it's held. That allows us to use it as more of a really mangleable looper if we want to, and of course we can turn that off whenever we're ready to just go back to feeding new material in. This is a modeless algorithm, and what we really want to do with pretty much any module, and especially digital SoundHack modules, is make it so you can access just about every corner of the sonic world that is within it at any time. And so we've made it fully modulatable. Just about every parameter is voltage controllable. Start to be able to move dynamically between chorusing and flange and longer repeats. Flip things backwards dynamically. We can also tempo sync it, and we'll end up with just get really complex results from just a few modulation sources, and just generally always love working with SoundHack on things that are new and inspiring like this. So I'll go over the X-Pan briefly next. We've got, it's a 5-channel voltage-controlled crossfading and panning mixer, and it has 2 more complex channels with crossfade and pan. I'm going to take the Mimeophone out of the mix now so we can hear more easily. I have 2 inputs here on this channel for the crossfader. This bass line we're hearing is in the left input, and I am also going to put in a droning oscillator output from that same oscillator into the right input, so we can hear it cross-fading between as I turn that up. We can control this by voltage, of course. It's able to be something like a crossfader, or if you just have one input, it also works as just a simple VCA. And the output can be panned from left to right using the pan control, going over to the left, going over to the right. And just as with the crossfade, that can also be voltage controlled. It responds to anything up to audio rate signals, so if we can get some kind of crazy stereo effects and psychoacoustic effects even by panning or crossfading at audio rate if we like. There are two channels in here that both have the crossfade and pan circuits, so that's always available at once, and then they're routed to the stereo outputs, which we had going to the Mimeophone, and we also have a stereo aux input. Got some material from the Morphagene going in there, just for character, and that allows us to use this as a decentralized mixing decentralized mixer along with some of our other mix modules that have aux inputs like the Optomix, Modumix, and so forth. So, and just really briefly, I have one final module to show you, which is the XOH. The Mix Output and Headphone module is what XOH stands for. It's a simple two-channel stereo mixer with stereo line outputs that can go to monitors, and then a stereo headphone output, which can has a volume control, uses the same circuit found in the headphone output on the CV bus, and is really nice for driving either headphones or monitors. And since we have a lot of modules with stereo outputs now, it's really nice to just be able to easily sum a couple stereo outputs together at the end of your chain, which is pretty convoluted to do in a modular before this. So we're pretty excited to release all these modules pretty soon here. The Mimeophone is going to be available at the end of this summer. I think pre-orders are going to open in June. It's 16 HP and the price is TBD. The X-Pan is 10 HP, it'll be $259 and should be shipping in 1 to 2 weeks from now. And the XO is 110 and it is 6 HP and it'll be shipping in June, we hope. So all these will be available pretty soon.